right, everybody, this is Alba Weinman, and I am in Detroit right now just for a few days. And the whole reason I'm in Detroit is because I wanted to see Paula. Paula came to me, it was in March of 2022. She did a session with me, which is called Ride the Wave. Do you know the number?
I think it's 614.
Okay, so you can look it up, Ride the Wave. And she had a secret.
Yes, I hadn't told anybody that other than my husband, the doctors, that I had breast cancer.
Yes, and so this whole time, since for the last 3 years, I guess, I really hadn't heard anything from Paula, except I did see on Facebook her daughter talking about her condition and what they were going through. And so she sent me an email a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, saying she had been cleared. And I was so excited, and I said, I have to give her a hug. I just have to give her a hug. And she's not coming to Micanopy, so I'm going to Detroit. And when I told people I was going to Detroit, they go, why? Why are you going to Detroit? Yeah. And so this whole trip has been, we're going to do a few sessions here, a little meet and greet, but the whole reason is to hear Paula's story and her husband, Russ. So I'm going to pan over to her and you can just listen to her.
Well, it started with the hypnosis, because there was one story in there where the woman was in the well, and there's a song, If You Could Read My Mind. And that song has always, through my years, just brought me to tears, because I was afraid I would fail to do what I was sent here to do.
Yeah.
And that was to heal the cancer without pharmaceuticals.
So how did it start? How did you find out that
I had a small lump, and then got the mammogram, and then right after that the girl did an ultrasound, but she was pushing so hard on my breast it hurt, and I was staying quiet until the very end, probably 20, 30 minutes, when she was working on the opposite breast. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, trying to find the parameters for breast surgery. I said, I'm not getting breast surgery. You're not going to cut off my breast. I know that cutting off cancer doesn't solve the cancer.
Keep going.
Yeah. So I left that hospital. My husband was out in the waiting room. Yeah. And I said, let's get at her. That was U of M. It's supposed to be a good hospital, but you know, they have their ways of doing things, and I was going to do it differently. So I had been researching for about 14 years natural and alternative cancer treatments. I didn't have cancer. I didn't know anybody with cancer. It's just that God led me there, and I just found it was my hobby. And people would ask, how could you have a hobby such as that? Well, I wanted to have the answers in case anyone that I knew had cancer, and I could say, you know, here are a few methods. Well, when it came to me choosing a method, I hadn't studied them really hard on how to do it. So I started with fenbendazole. That's the dog dewormer. That didn't seem to be making any progress after about 6 weeks, because you're supposed to do each protocol for 6 weeks. And then I moved on to another one. It was hydroxychloroquine. Yeah. So, but that was more difficult, because I started doing the chemical way of like making a whole batch at once. And I thought, God doesn't want this to be the method either, because everybody out there is not going to be a scientist major and know how to do that. So I moved on to rainforest herbs, which has a lot of good, people get healed with that, no matter what cancers they have. Rainforest herbs, 10 rainforest herbs twice a day. And that's what I started to try. But years ago, I had found a video of a man that solved his cancer, and he had a big cancer on his chest. And I thought, okay, I'll use that, but it's required you to know the Bible, and I didn't know the Bible. I had been a 35-year Course in Miracles student, so I knew that the world was a dream and a hologram and holographic, and that you could manifest your healing with your thoughts. So I started reading the Bible, finding where Daniel was, where John was, Mark, and all these, but I was working so hard and I had no peace. So I ended up in the hospital. I fainted one day, and that's when my 18-year-old son found out I had breast cancer that day when the ambulance came.
How long had you been doing this?
About 9 months, 8 months. 8 months I had done different protocols.
Now, Russ, you knew about this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she, wanted to try, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, there was an assumption that we were going to go Western medicine, so they started, they wanted to cut off her breast. She goes, no, I got some other protocol I'd like to use. So we ended up leaving that hospital and tried to find another one, and bedside manners weren't there for her. And so she did her own protocol, like she just explained, and I was all on board because I knew that, you have to be in on the decision making.
Right.
Right? And if you're going to get healed, you have to be, in on it.
100%.
Yeah, not just like, hey, this is what we do, and, we're signing you up, you got insurance, you're all good. And so she put her foot down, which she's always been able to do since I've been married to her. And that's why I married her, right?
That stubbornness pays off, doesn't it?
Yeah, I found this Italian girl, and she had fire in the belly. I said, oh, she can raise kids.
Well, I had tried the Bible route the whole month of August that year, and it was getting worse. The cancer was getting worse, and he was helping me bandage it. And
yeah, it was getting continually worse. I'd be helping her, and I saw the struggle.
Yeah.
We kept it from our son, who had just graduated from high school, and he was trying to figure out where he wanted to go to college. She said, well, let's just not tell him yet until we get, started on the healing process. And I admired her because I just felt like I've known a lot of people that just, well, I got cancer, and it's this and that, and there was never like, well, I got this, and she said, I got this, and I said, okay, well, let's do your protocols and let's get going here. So I was not necessarily coaching her, I was just helping her.
And in what way were you helping her? Because I think that's really very important, is to have support around you. So in what way were you helping her?
Fortunately, I had just retired, so I had the time.
Yeah.
And I was still feeling a lot of guilt. I was gone a lot. I used to travel a lot, when she was raising the kids at home, which is, as we all know, is difficult. And I said, baby, I got you. I got the time. I'm at your beck and call. I'll take care of everything while you're going through this. And I'll help you, while she was trying her protocols. And then about 10 months into it, to my recollection, she fainted, and she was losing blood. And
the breast was just engorged, enlarged.
Yeah.
With inflammation, and there were times that blood was just squirting out. Like a little sprinkler.
And I was bandaging.
And he was helping bandage it up and then washing the rags. And I was trying to make something work besides traditional medicine.
Yeah. And she, she fainted one morning. And that's when I knew, so I called the ambulance. And luckily, we were taken to a...
that sounds like the ambulance coming.
Well, yeah. Boy, I've heard that a lot in my life. Anyway, she fainted, and, we just turned it over to the Holy Spirit.
Well, I had to go through chemo at that point because we had to do something to shrink it fast.
Fortunately, though, the ambulance didn't go to either of the hospitals we'd already checked out and got the bad bedside manners, Because I know you have to believe in the doctor. I just know that in my heart from all the stuff I've been through with my families. I
got a doctor that said he knew about Chinese medicine, and he had spent some time in China. So I thought
Had good bedside manners.
Yeah, so he was going to help me,
And he included her in on her healing.
But I did only chemo. I didn't do anything natural in addition to the chemo because I wanted to obey his rules, which was just try my way. So we did, and it did shrink it a lot. And once that was done, they did immunotherapy, which I figured wasn't making an effect on me because I could tell by my nails. Women can tell by their nails how healthy they are, and it was really bad.
Just going back a little bit, how many rounds of chemo did you have to go?
6.
6, okay.
Wasn't it 6?
Yeah, it was
Every 6 weeks?
3 weeks. Every 3
weeks.
weeks, yeah. And so I was getting CAT scans, and everything was fine. It looked good, but I stayed on the immunotherapy. It really wasn't doing anything, and a year later, I had a seizure, and that's when they found out it went to the brain. 12 lesions on the brain with gone to brain cancer, and I learned at that point that it often does. Breast cancer does go to the brain, which made me mad at my doctor because he never warned me, and he never gave me a brain scan. In the CAT scans, that doesn't tell what's going on in the brain, and I thought he should have done that. So I dropped him and took somebody else but it was just a group of doctors. They're all working together anyhow.
Yeah.
So then at that point, I had my back against the wall, and I said, okay, God, I got to do it through the Bible because it works for everybody else that uses the Bible. The Bible, Jesus laid out the formula, how to manifest healing, and he taught all 12 disciples to learn to heal, and they did that. And then he taught 70 more. So there were a lot of people running around with Jesus's teachings that healed people. So that's what I did. I concentrated on the Bible, and I went back to that man that had the cancer on him because he was an 8-year Christian with a regular church in Arizona, and he could never heal that cancer. But when he learned from this preacher in Colorado, his name is Andrew Womack. Andrew Womack taught him how to do it, and the guy just dropped his other church and did it Andrew's way, and he manifested healing right away. Right away, they saw shrinkage in that cancer. And he was a good person for me to learn from because he had a cancer that was big, kind of like my breast was so big, and it was just filled with cancer.
Yeah, tumor.
I used the Andrew Womack's theory of you can manifest the healing, and I got into the Bible.
Is there a way you can kind of go over a little bit of what the protocol is like?
It's belief.
It's belief.
You got to have belief. It's what Jesus said during my hypnosis. You asked him, when will she heal this cancer? And he said, when she decides.
There you go.
And at that time, I didn't know anything about the Bible and the healing protocol in the Bible. So I kept remembering that one comment that he made is when she decides.
I have chills from head to toe.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, it's a decision that you make.
She's often watched that again and again and again. She's going through tough times,
Yeah, there were times, I would fall back. I would have, the ego would be just pestering me for the whole weekend. And then I would remember, oh yeah, that's the voice of the enemy telling me you can't do this. So I got back on protocol and got back into the Bible and got back. Mostly I listened to testimonies at first because Andrew Womack has a website where you can listen to all the testimonies of people who have healed everything. All kinds of ailments they've healed. They've even healed it in their babies. Somebody from, I think, Holland had a baby that was 2 years old and had cancer all over his body. And when they learned of the Andrew Womack's method of perceiving the Bible and what Jesus was trying to teach, they started doing that, and they cast those evil energies out of their baby.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's great.
We got a lot of strange looks from family and friends that weren't.
Yeah, they don't really understand. Even my children didn't understand what I was doing.
Yeah, it's something. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but it works.
Most people are just convinced on Western medicine, which I've
they
been
feel
through
safe.
some things myself, different illnesses, and I was always going to Western medicine. Kind of raised that way, You know, my mom raised me that way. Well, you need a pill, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mom, you know best, you know. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. But when I met her, her train of thought was always a little bit different than everybody else. She had her own mind.
Well, my mom wasn't a worrier, so her mother was a nurse years ago, and so she didn't tend to worry, but this one worries.
My mom was a worrier.
Yeah. Medicine for everything.
And it took her early. She had a heart attack at 53 when I was 23, which just devastated me.
You manifest.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
you know, Paula is just so willing to try. You know, she doesn't care what people think.
Well, I had a visitation from Jesus 35 years ago, and he told me I would be here for something big, and I believed him. And so when the time came that they told me that I had breast cancer, I like, okay, this is the cup God gives me, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to succeed. So. And then I found in the Bible that there are many times that Peter was rebelling against Jesus in the garden the night before the crucifixion. And when Jesus saw him do that, he said, he didn't call him Peter, he called him Satan. So that's the enemy that said, okay, I'm going to change this script and you're not going to die. But Jesus said to Peter, should I not drink of the cup God handed me? That's it. So Jesus had a role to play in the story.
Absolutely.
And I have a role to play in the story.
What was your background before this all started? What were you doing?
Just 35 years of Course in Miracles, you know, and plus I was into metaphysics. So anything that taught you about the other world, I would study.
And that's where I met you during the hypnosis course.
Yes,
Do you remember what
I
year
was
that
very
was?
fascinated by that hypnosis.
I
don't remember. I didn't look it up.
Maybe,
No, it was way before that.
Either 2018 or 19.
That's probably true, yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is about both of you, I really met you through Russ, because you're the one who contacted me first.
Oh, that's true. He did.
You contacted. You want to tell that story?
Well,
what your background is?
You tell it because.
No,
well, I'm not remembering it.
Well, you contacted
this
me.
Is before I retired, and I was
Right.
very busy, and she wanted to go down there, and I made the arrangements because.
This is way before. You were talking about using hypnosis for your guys.
Oh.
Yes.
So tell everybody who your guys are.
Well, you know, I was lucky enough to play the American dream of most young men, not all, but I was able to play pro football in the NFL for 10 years, professional football. And then I got out and I kind of wandered for 5 years. And I got to get back around football because I love the mindset. I love, and I was studying at that time. I went back to school to get a master's in sports psychology. And I wanted to know, you know, why some guys make, some guys don't. Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted to know the mindset of the guys that made it. Now, some was just due to talent. But a lot of those guys don't have the mindset and they don't last very long.
Yeah.
So it's just the power of the mind can do a lot of things that you think you can.
That's right. It was him that contacted you
Yes.
first. You know why? Because I couldn't get an appointment.
Right.
That was just not going to
So
happen.
You're busy.
He weaseled in the back door, and I went,
Well, I had a little sales background too.
Back door is closed
He called you
too.
and left you. I think he left you a message on your phone or something.
No, I think I did talk to you or communicated somehow.
Yeah.
This is way at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
And you wanted me to do hypnosis sessions for some of the football players.
Yeah, guys that were having trouble, you know. And then after football and after wandering around a little while, I got into scouting in the NFL. And I was an NFL scout for 25 years with 5 different teams. And I wanted to know the mindset of these guys. You know, we can all say, oh, he's fast, he's tall, he's, you know, heavy, he's strong, he's, you know, we can measure all that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, sports psychology was just coming into the NFL at that time, so I was a little more prepared. We tried everything to get, you know what I mean, because they were getting ready to invest this type of money.
Right.
And they wanted to make sure that they weren't wrong, because, you know, a first-round draft choice is a bust.
Money.
You know, yeah, and eventually, you know, you get fired if you
Yeah.
take them wrong. And most of the time, it wasn't because of talent. It was because of some hidden thing that they were going through, whether it be family or the agent was taking them, whatever it was. They could no longer perform because they were in their head with all their problems, and they couldn't wipe the problem clear. And so I think I was throwing a little of that jargon on you. I found a way. I was, you know, when she says, let's get this done, I find a way. Make Mama happy, because if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
And of course, I gave you the speech. Sorry, that's not.
That's
not how we do it. Yeah. And you were like, "No, I'll fly up here to, you know, take care of this." And it's like, no
for me is maybe when you say no. It's well, maybe. So I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
And
but then I finally got to meet you when you came down in 2022. Is March.
Right.
Of 2022.
And I had just been diagnosed, and I somehow got an appointment with you miraculously.
That's a miracle.
Because I was forbidden to respond on Facebook for about a month or something.
She was a little ornery.
So I didn't know that touching it would get me an appointment.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always believe in the way it works.
Yeah.
My system works. I have the belief that everyone is divinely guided. And if for some reason they cancel or something happens, it's because they're not supposed to be there at that time.
Good.
Even if they have technology issues and they're like, oh my God, you know, I can't believe this is happening. It's like, no, it's not you're not aligned today. Let's reschedule where everything is working better. And it always ends up fine.
Yeah.
So talking about belief, you know, for me, when I do my work, I am there 100%, 200%.
Yeah.
Like I know that my words come through God.
Oh, right.
You know, or God's words come through me, should I say.
Yeah.
That is what I have requested in this life, is make me an instrument of God.
Right.
So when I'm doing my work, whatever is coming through me is. There's no question. So when people say, well, I don't know if I could believe that, it's like, well, I did.
Yeah.
I did. So whatever happened there happened. And I have there's no hesitation in what I'm doing. So if I'm asking for archangels to come in and lay their hands over my clients, I have no doubt that they're there.
Yeah.
It's just the way I do my work.
Right.
And, you know, of course, it's taken me a long time to understand this because I've gone through my own evolution. But hearing you say that it is belief.
It's belief.
All of my automatic writings, that is what it is. It's like I spent at least 30 years in my automatic writing with them saying, why do you doubt?
Yeah.
Stop doubting. That was like in big letters. Stop doubting.
Huge.
Yeah, it really is. It's mentioned in the Bible with all the disciples when they couldn't heal somebody and Jesus had to do it, a leper or something. They asked the question, why couldn't we do it? And he said, it's because your unbelief.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he said this would require meditation and fasting. And the meditation and fasting is not to get the miracle with these people. It's to correct your unbelief. So I knew that I had to have full belief.
Yes.
And if I was failing in that, like one weekend, the devil had me in misery and not believing. And as soon as I figured out who was in my head chattering my advice, I got him out. But that happened a lot, right?
Yeah,
I had to, you know, every once in a while I'd have a pain in the area of cancer because it had gone to my bones too. I would get a fearful thought, and then I have to cast it out and say, no, I can do this. I can do this through belief.
It's funny, you know, I tried to keep people away from her who
had unbelief.
Doubting Donna's.
You know, have influence
Yes.
because they were good friends, whatever they were, which is really hard for her because everyone wanted to help. But everyone brings their cancer story.
Right.
And 9 out of 10 times they don't make it. I didn't want to hear that. You know what I mean? And this is the love of my life. Like if I hadn't have met her when I was 22, actually 23, and she's the only girl I brought home to Mom. Mm-hmm. And my mom was fawning at the bit because she had 4 boys and no grandbabies, and all her friends, who were our friends, sons, they were all having kids. And so I brought her home, and she met her and fell in love with her. And, it's like, hey, you're going to marry her this summer. I go, Mom, I've only known her for 2 months. Anyway, so I thought, and then 2 months later, after I took her up to meet her up in Seattle from California.
It was just a month later.
Yeah.
She died.
Yeah, and so, that was very tough time for me. I don't think I ever truly acknowledged my mom was dead.
Yeah.
And it took me till we started having kids and saw in their eyes, like, wow, I wish my mother could have met you. That's what she always wanted, and she didn't make it. So
we have 4 children now, but they weren't all on board with Mom's method of healing. They didn't really trust it.
So talk a little bit about that, because that's really important too. The support that you have around you, and not everybody is on board.
Right.
That's the biggest obstacle, I believe, when you're dealing with any type of illness like that.
Yeah.
And I had an incident happen where a friend left my care for about 6 months, or maybe it was a year, because of her unbelief was affecting me, and I didn't know that, but God knew that, and so God got them out of my life for a year.
That's wonderful. Yeah. A lot of people will say, well, this type of illness or this type of any major situation like that, you will really find out who is there with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through my dark night of the soul, which wasn't an illness, but it was big, and people just disappear from your life.
Yeah.
And then some people come to you that you never expect.
Yeah.
And some know how to care for you. I mean, my girlfriends were over my house all the time, bringing food, because I couldn't cook. I couldn't even get off the couch because I had sciatica before that. So I had sciatica for a year and a half before that.
Yeah, I remember taking her to...
I had known of a doctor in Houston, so I went to her. And I told my oncologist, I said, I can't do the cancer treatment right now. I got to run to Houston and get this sciatica fixed, because I couldn't deal with both problems. I was laid up on the couch, so we went to Houston, and in 5 days in Houston. Well, the first day I was using a walker, and there was a fire alarm. And this was the same hotel we stayed in for the Super Bowl. My husband's team was in the Super Bowl, and we stayed at that hotel. So we're there at that hotel again, and a fire alarm, and I've got to go down the emergency staircase with a walker.
Wow.
But I knew, God was writing my story, and that was part of it.
And now these are just stories that you can tell of survival.
Yeah, I had to live the story to be able to talk about how it happened with me, how I got healed.
Wow.
I use the power of God that lives in all of us.
I know a lot.
We weren't told, though.
Disciplined, excuse me, but I know a lot of disciplined people through my career. Guys that were just, would lift weights, would run, just like psychotic almost. And I was one of them. But when I met her, I couldn't believe how disciplined. When she put her mind to something. Yeah. No matter what anybody said, she didn't listen to criticism. And I didn't
listen to the doctors when they wanted me to do more chemo. And when I had the seizure, they found out there was cancer in the brain, and they wanted me to do the MRI to test it. And I did that. And I did the what is it that they did to my brain to get rid of it? Anyhow, I allowed radiation. Yeah, I did the radiation. Yeah. And then, of course. But I did it with cheer, because I knew that God had planned for me to live, and this was just a detour. And I accepted that detour. And as soon as they got evidence that through an MRI that my brain was clear, I stopped the chemo. And they were mad at me. The doctors all were mad. because I wouldn't do all the chemo they wanted me to do. They still want me to be on chemo. They want me on chemo till I die. Yeah.
We asked that question.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that all the CAT scans and MRIs are clear.
That's how bad it was.
She's healed.
It was stage 4, breast and brain.
So now you're completely clear.
Completely clear. There is no sign or evidence of cancer in my body. Yeah.
Of course, we have friends that'll say, no, she's just in redemption.
Yeah,
They use that word.
Remission.
Remission, I'm sorry,
yeah.
redemption.
It is redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah, remission.
They
And I
think
thought,
it'll come back, and that's
That's
another
the doubt.
negative. Yeah, that's the negative.
And if you buy into that, you're waiting for it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what
It's
that
true.
means.
That's really
You're waiting for it to
You're
come
waiting
back.
for it, exactly.
Yeah, so you kind of cross those people off the calling list
Right.
for support.
So you had told me you're dealing with stuff now.
Well, after she healed herself, and I'm this guy that had close to 10, well, it was 8 surgeries from playing football, which is actually fairly normal. Most guys do, some have, 15, 16.
Yeah.
And I was a glutton for punishment, so, I started having back pains, knee pains, just the overall arthritic.
Those things started to surface once I got well.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he was.
It couldn't be two. You had to
Yeah.
wait his turn.
Yeah.
And we were in Oregon visiting our children there, and he ended up in the emergency room because he thought something was wrong with
Well, I
his
had a
energy
5
and his
bypass,
heart.
like in 19, in 2000.
Your heart?
Yep, 5
Okay.
bypass, yep. And didn't see it coming. And then they did the bypass, and they said, okay, you're good, go back to work. And then I had, about a year and a half later, I had a heart attack. I go, well, I can't have a heart attack. The guy said it's good. The doctor said I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
why would I have a heart attack? It's already been cleared. Well, come to find out, it was one of the veins didn't work when they went bypass.
And they said that happens sometimes. One will not
Well,
work.
it caught me by surprise because I kept telling everybody, no, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm not, And then I had the big one, and I was alone. She was, we were getting ready to go to a wedding in California, and I was alone. So, I thought I can't call Paula. I mean, that's just not, And then finally I went, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I called her, and she said, well, call the ambulance. I'm on my way. She was out getting something to wear to the wedding, and then I realized that they're not always right, and there was no, they said, sometimes that happens. I wish you would have told me that. I would have went to the doctor a lot faster. So besides that, I had high blood pressure, so I wasn't healing I wasn't going, I wasn't full board on the blood pressure, and I started. Never been tired in my life, the fatigue it brings on.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand that, so we were on a vacation, and I was taking more naps, and I was supposed to be playing with the grandkids, and because we traveled all that way. So, but we got it all fixed. Yeah.
But then you came home and you started manifesting your healing the way Jesus taught in the Bible.
I started using her technique.
Yeah.
And that,
not believing
that one line
the
you
weakness.
said to her kept ringing in my ear. You will be
when you
healed
decide.
When you decide. Mm-hmm. And if you want
I
to-
said that or Jesus said
Jesus said that.
Jesus, God said that through you for her healing. I believe that was the line.
Yeah.
Something.
That was me during hypnosis.
it? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yes, that's true.
It was just a powerful comment
Well,
that he made.
you got her to say that.
Yeah,
And
that's
that was just so healing for her and then for me.
yeah. Well, when we know in our hearts that it's not our time,
Yeah.
you just keep going.
And I knew that was a mission that I had and an assignment that I agreed to with the cancer.
Yeah.
And I was determined to find the answer because I had already been trained for years before that, researching and knowing that other people do get well besides using traditional medicine. So I knew it was possible. So he had me prepared. God had me prepared for this. Not to be afraid. I didn't cry 1 minute when I got the news from the doctor, from the nurse. No, I just took it as a challenge. I'm going to do this. And fendimetrazole was not it, rainforest herbs was not it, and chlorine dioxide was not it. Because I knew God didn't want people to have to be a chemist and mix these things. He was going to make it easy. I just knew he was going to help. I was trying to find something easy all those years of study so that I'd have an answer for somebody to do something easy. And there's nothing easier than using the Bible and the teachings from the disciples and from Jesus in the Bible. They all were taught to heal. But I don't think I don't think years ago that it was the time for healing, just like the lady in the well that was mentioned in the hypnosis. I think she was a healer. And they don't want healers on the planet. Not back then. It wasn't time to have a healer have a voice. Yeah. But nowadays, it is time. So it is time for people to start using their voice to heal their body. Mm-hmm. I am healed. Past tense, because it says it in the Bible that it's already done. We just have to believe.
Yeah. By his stripes, you are healed.
Mm-hmm. And so he's really
I catch on to those and
done remarkable.
You know what I mean? So, and I thought, why did I wait so long? You know, why? But you know, God has His own timetable.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be given challenges.
Yeah.
Otherwise, life would be boring, right?
So true.
I mean,
We've had our challenges. Yeah.
You know, I always use the analogy of sports and soap operas too, because people really enjoy the drama.
Yeah.
Yes, people are attracted to drama.
If you knew the score of a game beforehand, you wouldn't watch it, right?
So right.
But it's the drama, it's the excitement of, you know, the heroes and the villains, and our body is the same. You know, it's you become angry with your body, and So this is something that we have to learn, that our mind is that powerful.
It really is.
That we have the ability to really choose our ending.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it may be, we may all have a certain day we have to go, but how are you going to get there?
Yeah.
You know?
I had never talked to animals before, but I have this cat, my favorite cat. I was out on the porch, and when I came inside after reading the Bible and such, I saw the cat on my counter, and she had been having trouble with her bowels and going anywhere in the house that she wanted to, and so I thought,
older cat.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I don't want you on my counter, you know, because you shit everywhere, and you know what she said to me? She said, in my mind, why? You let your husband shit everywhere.
She meant I was making a mess out of the house.
No, it's your thoughts.
Yes.
The negative thoughts look like shit to a cat that can see the other realm.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what
clear
it was.
that up.
Yeah.
So he had to get rid of his negative thinking.
Yeah, I didn't have a bowel problem though.
No.
What you meant, my mind was.
Your mind was. Yeah, it's the toxic nature of your mind.
Our cat meant that.
Yeah.
He knew this.
She meant that.
And cats are really amazing.
Yeah.
They are.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
I have actually witnessed 2 or 3 cats, prolong my sister's life by taking on her illness.
I see.
Wow. I believe that.
Completely healthy cats would lay on her and take whatever.
I believe that. And I was never a cat person until she had her situation, because our dog had just died, and I'm a dog guy, and I said, we can't do this anymore, and so then I had to get used to the cats.
Yeah.
And so and then all of a sudden she went through her thing, and it's almost like they're reading my mind.
They are.
And like the cats were telling me, you need to bring your A game. This is our mama. and she's been taking care of us. Now you got to take care of us. So they kind of put me to work and started listening to them.
That's
It
amazing.
sounds crazy.
No,
you know.
not to me.
Yeah, well, my buddies, if they see this, they go, you're talking to cats now?
But once you have belief,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
your whole world changes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I do this for a living. I listen to people's stories, and
Yeah.
I see the miraculous things that happen. And to me, everybody needs to own what is happening to them, because one thought can just derail everything.
It sure can.
For example, just simple things. Oh, I lost my job. Well, what were you thinking before you lost your job? Did you like your job? No, I hated going into work. Well,
There you go.
how many times do you think that before you manifest it? What do you really want to do instead of going to that job that you didn't like? So we have to own our reality.
Yeah.
And if something isn't working, you have to go back. And that's what the hypnosis is all about. Let's go back to
Yes.
the origin of where this all
Hypnosis,
began.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I love about it. Go back to the origin. It could be in this lifetime or another lifetime.
Right.
You may have brought something from another lifetime to accomplish
Yes.
what you're supposed to accomplish here. I look back at my dark night of the soul, which was the biggest thing that happened to
Yeah.
me, and I bless it now.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
I wouldn't be who I am
And
right
I wouldn't
now.
have learned all the healing that I've learned through the Bible
Yeah.
if I hadn't had the cancer. So the cancer's been a real
I can say
blessing.
the same.
Now I can't pass it on to my kids because they're still not there.
They're
They
on their
don't
journey.
Yeah, they don't. They don't think it's real.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And,
But they are glad their mom is well.
right. But everybody has their own journey, and you can't fix somebody else.
Yeah.
They have to live it too.
Yeah,
And they may have to go through their own
Right.
their own things. You know?
Yeah.
It's almost like having children. I mean,
Yeah.
you really don't know what it's like to
Yeah.
love a child
Yeah.
until you have your own child.
That's true.
Right? I have a nephew, I have a niece. No, it's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
This is your own blood. This is,
Yeah.
and to raise a child, the person changes.
Yep.
I see it in my own
Right.
own family, how it changes a person. And so that's a journey on its own.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But anything, financial issues, health issues, they shouldn't be looked at as a problem. It should be like, and this is my friend Sabrina and I always say, why is it happening for me
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of to me?
Right.
So when something
that's a
happens, it's
great-
like, why is this happening for me? And that changes the whole
Interesting.
way of seeing things,
Oh,
because
so true. Yeah, I believe that.
what is the gift in this?
Yeah. Well, we neither of us know the Bible very well, but we read the parables. Like when Jesus killed the fig tree, he just said, "You're gone," because he didn't feel it was offering fruit. And that's the same thing with the cancer. It's not offering me fruit. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. And
That's amazing.
that was a demonstration of how quickly you can manifest moving your mountain. Don't pray for God to move your mountain. He asked you to do it. So that's what we learn to do, is to move our own mountains with the power of God that lives in all of us.
That's great.
Yeah.
What do you feel about prayer for other people?
Well, I do believe in the power of prayer, but the best thing is to move your own mountains using the power of God that's in you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
so,
wonderful.
So that's what we learn from the Bible. I like to listen to the Bible being read to me. So different books like Mark and Gospel of John. I loved listening to, especially the sleep Bible. There are no commercials, so I like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's like 8 hours of just continually reading the
Hey, this on
Bible, so you
YouTube,
could learn.
Audible?
You can learn.
Fantastic.
You can
Yeah.
learn what the Bible
It used
says.
to bother me. I couldn't sleep, but now I can't go to sleep without it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In fact, he had a friend that was over in Africa years ago. He's a Christian all of his life, adult life, and he was talking about being in helping. They're on a mission there, and he's got like 10 guys he's sleeping with in this
Dorm.
cabin.
Yeah.
and the guy next to him just snored terribly, and he was so resentful and hated that, and then it grew to where he couldn't sleep without it.
Isn't that something?
The snoring. But he knew of demons. He knew that really exist over there. People practice
Everywhere.
Yeah.
That's not just an Africa
Yeah.
thing, okay?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
We've learned a lot about that.
Yeah, and same as what you're just saying, you have to command.
Yeah, you have to command. You
Because
have to
the only
take authority.
reason,
We were given authority.
right, and the only reason they're attracted to you is because you're in victim mode.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They feed off of
they
you.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
last
we're
5
learning a lot
years,
about deliverance ministries. You know.
we did a deep dive. She bought a book.
I bought him an old book
You know,
on
I
all
have
the
friends that
deliverance
talk in tongues,
ministers.
So I
Yeah.
played with it a while, not comfortable. And so this, in the beginning of the early 1900s, before medicine was really taking over, there was a lot of deliverance preachers. And they had a lot of success. And then it kind of evaporated. It was, I believe they called it the Pentecostal movement.
Yeah.
And I realized my mom grew up in that in Kansas. And one time she said to me when I was a little boy, I had an older brother always in trouble. And I remember sitting there, I always was the kid that listened to his parents' arguments. And she said, told my dad, you know, we got to get the demons out of our oldest son. Now, I might have been 6, 7, but when I realized later in life, like 60 years later,
That's what it is.
that's what she meant.
Yeah.
Because
No.
Jesus was casting out demons right and left. In the Bible, if you read the
And then
stories.
he told his disciples, "You guys can do
You
the
could
same
do it,
thing.
yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
just me. It's
Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean,
you're born
he made the
again."
blind see and the deaf to hear.
Yeah.
And
And they were doing it.
Yeah,
Right.
they were doing
Then
it.
it kind of faded once the medical
Well,
got
they-
stronger and
A
stronger.
lot. They were mostly killed
Yeah.
if they had that talent, just like the lady in the well.
Yeah. And to me, when I do the hypnosis practice, most of those quote unquote demons are lost souls that
Yes.
Yeah.
have never crossed over, and so as they were in life, they are without a
Yeah,
body.
right.
And if they're
Spirits without bodies.
yes, and so if they were pranksters, they're going to be pranksters
Yes.
after death too,
Right.
after the death of their body. So in my practice, and same as you learn with Antonio Sanjo, is that we give them a voice, we listen to them,
Yes,
and
right.
we let
Send them
go.
off with love.
Send them
Yeah,
off with love,
yeah.
because love ultimately is the answer.
And I'm doing that. I've done that, and I've said, thank you for being here, thank you for your service, but you're not needed anymore.
Right, exactly.
So I have had to cast off the demons on me too, and he'll do it also. I'll tell him,
Yeah.
come over, I got a demon.
Sometimes she
acting-
wants me to do it, verbally
Yeah.
to somebody that might not be, might like, whoa, what do you, not take it right. So I've been doing it just in prayer while I'm with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just because I don't want to offend them, and like shut it down. I've
Yeah.
tried that method.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, to me, it's always send them home with love. You're lost.
That's really knowledgeable.
You're lost, and it's time to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Thank
And
you for saying that, yeah.
yeah. So, bottom line, what do you want people to remember from this whole talk?
Well, I guess I would want you to remember that the disciples did exactly what Jesus did, and he taught 70 more to do that. But it was smushed from society because they were going the way of pharmakia. And so that's been dominating since then. But we can bring it back, because now is the time to bring it back. Well, with the internet, everybody knows now. If you're on a thread where you can learn about deliverance ministers, Katie Souza is really good. There's a lot of them good. In fact, he read the book where all the old ones, Catherine, what's her last name? And there are just so many good ones.
Wigglesworth,
Wigglesworth, yeah.
Wigglesworth, yeah.
So, if you were to do a Google search on them, What would you look up?
God's Generals.
Really?
Yeah, it was a book that was written about all those guys, the like 8 best ones, how they started, and then how they were received, and then how it ended, you know, and they just kind of faded because people weren't, you know, their criticism was that's being a fanatic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people don't, you know, we don't want to see all the drama in church, so the churches pretty much kicked them out.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you go to church today, you know, we did a church hunt, you know, scouting out churches, and I never
As the
heard
scout
say
that you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're going to have to be a scout for Easter.
yeah, he's gonna.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's you train your mind to do that. You know?
Yeah.
And after 25 years of doing it, you realize, like, to the young guys that are sitting there with me getting the info, guys, listen, don't talk, you know, like, well, you didn't say that, you know, in September, now you're saying it in April, right before the draft. Well, why didn't you tell me that then, you know? Let them talk, and then you decipher, you know, he's probably had to not tell the truth because now it's recruiting season, and he doesn't want, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'd have to figure out what coaches were.
Well, it wasn't.
Lying.
Their job is to, you know, paint the picture and
Get
you
more
know,
drafted.
We were coming off 2 losses, and I was mad at him. Right? It's human nature.
Right.
And he finished strong, and so I got nothing but good things. And of course, they lived with him for 4 years, and they realized he's got problems at home. And when he has problems at home, he can't play. You know, his mind is.
Not there.
And that happens with draft choices. You really have to know their background. You really have to know who raised them, who's their influence now. And in, you know, in the NFL, it's a really big deal. They can't come out and say, "Well, here's why we made the mistake." You know, that means we didn't do our job. So it's just life, and just you learn about relationships, right?
Yeah.
Life is relationships.
So what would you recommend for caregivers? People who are caregivers, what would you say to them?
You have to be. You have to channel spirit because there'll be really bad days and you'll get down and you gotta stay positive. You know, you just, and you have to steer your patients, you know, whether it's your parents or your kids or a family member you're going through, you really have to not encourage that relationship if it turns into them giving you negative energy.
So keep them away?
Yeah, keep
the people
as best you can, you know, really, without being totally mean and start a big family feud.
Well, not everybody's destined for complete healing, especially if they have unbelief.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. For me, I was going to accept nothing less than complete healing.
Yeah.
One fellow we found recently that Russ is going to learn to train under is Cody Owens. He has an amazing story of being in prison. As a street minister.
Actually uses the power.
Clash of the Kingdoms, he calls his site.
That the disciples, you know, struggled with. And he's been having a lot of success with it now. I haven't made the decision to really jump off into that. She's pushing it. It's obvious, but...
When I saw him, I just thought, oh, Russ could relate to this guy.
Yeah, I did relate to him.
Because he's very simple. And some people, deliverance ministers, have a long prayer, before casting off the negative energy. But Cody Owens has
Well, he walks up to people on the street that are really dire
minister.
need, and he just says, "You have."
And he has so many positive results from it.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't waver in his belief.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You cannot waver in your belief.
Right.
Sounds easy, doesn't it?
Well, but that's the story of Jesus when, if I just touch his robe, I'll be healed.
Yes.
That's really all.
Yeah.
It's the belief.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
If I just touch his robe, and Jesus said, "Who touched my robe?"
Yeah.
And
because the energy came
and
from.
And Cody had one time where some lady had something wrong with her leg, and she knew immediately that her leg was. She took off the cast or whatever the thing was on her. So she must have felt something too.
Yeah.
So
That's
immediate
fantastic.
healing. Yeah.
All right. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I certainly did. And like I said, I came to Detroit just to meet these two and to hear this story and share it with all of you, because I've just gone through a journey with my friend Sabrina, and it was miraculous, and this is miraculous. And I hope there's going to be more and more stories of this miraculous stuff going around. Just believe. Yeah. Just believe. So thank you all for watching. Until the next time. Much love to you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.